What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and today I'm back to talk about Warhammer 40K. In this one, we're going to be talking about the Ascension of Angron. Now, when it comes to the Demon Primarchs, I think one of the coolest things is showing how they became these demons, how the gods have gifted them, whether it be wings, even more durable, powerful bodies, and how that came about. I know that of Angron was one that was pretty interesting when you were reading it, so I wanted to cover it just in case you guys haven't gotten to that part in the lore just yet. So let's go ahead and dive into the novel Betrayer as we see the gifts of Khorne bless Angron. With their cries came the pain. The first spasms racked their way through Angron's sinews, turning his blood to quicksilver, then to lava, and at last, holy fire. His cries of thwarted rage were tainted by an agony beyond all comprehension. His body started tearing itself apart, growing, rising, perfecting after a lifetime of broken torture. Lorgar stared at his brother's agony with guilt and joy. You were always the conduit. No one else hates the way you do, with the same depthless strength. No one else feels such pain, violated by the treacheries of life. It had to be you. In the deepest moments of rage and sorrow, it was you, for there could be no other conduit. Guilliman was escaping into his son's defiant phalanxes, retreating in inevitable unity as they waded down the flooded roads. Lorgar saw the expression of disgusted awe on his brother's face as the wounded ultramarine stared at Angron atop the mound of dead sons, all from 3 bloodlines. However, the Legion still fired even in retreat. Their shells crashed against Angron's bared muscle meat, staining his skinless flesh black and bursting gouts of blood into the air. A drumbeat. The gunfire was just a drumbeat, adding to the great song's crescendo. Bolts thudded into him, blasting viscera free in sloppy arcs. And they did nothing at all. Angron had transcended corporeal pain, in the grip of heavenly torment. Lightning struck him. Even Lorgar hadn't expected that. Thunder pealed, forming another part of the great song, and more bolts of lightning snapped down from the bleeding sky, igniting the World Eater Primarch. The corpses at his boots, at the very earth around him, were all encased in fire. The fire burned red. It formed of flickering, writhing ghosts, the lives of those lost in exchange for his. The blood rain fell harder and hotter now, hot enough to fog and bleach the paint from the cracked ceramite of countless warring warriors. Lorgar never ceased his chanting, naming the names, calling upon them to obey as they'd promised. He'd given them oceans of blood and worlds aflame. Now they owed him. He'd soloed trillions of lies in exchange for just one. Let it never be said that Lorgar Aurelian wasn't a loyal brother. The inferno that had been Angron of the World Eaters raged unchecked. Doubt's first kiss touched Lorgar in that moment. He couldn't make out anything through the sanguine blaze. Was Angron even within the conflagration? Had the gods annihilated him in reparation for some flaw in the great song? He reached out with a psychic sense, questing towards the bale flame, and all he could hear was the wailing of the unfairly slain, their rage, their agony. This was the song he'd composed from fire and genocide, playing now for his brother's salvation. And now that he has ascended to godhood, let's see how Demon Prince Angron attacks one of his own. Hands gripped the fleeing librarian, his throat, his wrists, his shoulder guards. Cargos and the others hurled him back through the shrieking fire. He crashed onto the corpse mound to lie before his Primarch's mercy. Angron's storm cloud shadow fell over him, but the last thing he saw was Khorne watching in silence through the flames. Aska was the last to die. He didn't know which of his brothers threw him back across the fire, but he picked himself up and held his broken axe at the ready. Angron towered above him. Angron, who was eating Kayan's corpse. an armored torso and one arm rattled down the Primarch's monstrous gullet. He even heard the muted hiss of digestive acid doing its corrosive work deep inside the belly of the beast. It was the roar that hurled him from his feet. Angron's eyes ignited in the sockets of that malforming skull, triggering a roar that shook the sky. It sent Eska crashing back towards the ground, weaponless, and arcing from too many torn muscles from his retinal displays to track in one scan. He rose again, scrambling to his knees, looking up at the face of Lorgar Aurelian. Vicious lifeblood bathed the World-Bearer's features. "You should thank me," Lorgar said. "Your whole legion should thank me." Eska snarled at the Primarch, all words failing him. A shadow draped over from behind. Angron, or whatever Angron had become, was drawing close. "Blood," said Lorgar, lifting his Crozius. "For the Blood God." And this is the birth of the Demon Prince of Khorne, Angron. So this was a very awesome excerpt from the book Betrayer. It really showcases just the might of this hulking beast that Angron has become. He doesn't show any remorse until a little bit later on in the book, where he's pretty much suicidal, saying he did not want to become this bestial thing. And we know that Angron has always been a slave his entire life, a slave to his slave masters on Nuceria, a slave to the Emperor when he was forced to become the Primarch of the Legion, and now he is a slave to Chaos, more specifically Khorne. As we see, he will get no rest from being a slave. Such a sad story to such an amazing Primarch that really got the short end of the stick time and time again. It literally is one of the worst lives to have, considering you were a Primarch, a son of the Emperor. You could have had it all, and yet life, fate, gave you this horrible existence in return. So the life of Angron is a very sad one, but at the same time, we really get to see just how amazing and visceral and bloody this ascension to godhood has become. Now, this is going to be the first in a little series that I'm going to do covering the ascensions of the Demon Primarchs. So I think Fulgrim will be the next one, but you'll just have to wait and see. So again, guys, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you guys get updated to all our videos that we post. And again, thanks for watching. This has been the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll be catching all you guys in the next one. Peace.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.